Hi, my dear friend, my dear, lovely, holy friend. There's a concept, the rainbow. On the surface, we learn in physics, right, in optics. On the surface, it seems like it's light shining through a prism or droplets of water and splits into 7 layers, refracts, right, into 7 colorful layers. That's on the surface. But beneath the surface, it's a very spiritual concept. And the first time the rainbow was talked about, right, in the scriptures, in the legends, as God's promise to Noah, right, his proof that he won't bring the flood anymore. What was the story? Let's go back. So, welcome to the Flying Koi, and here we're going to talk about the spiral of times in the rainbow. So everything starts with Adam and his wife Eve, Chava. They used to live in the Garden of Eden, right, in the paradise, and they had everything. And for some reason, they threw it all away. They tasted the fruit, whatever that is, and they got kicked out of there. But what was their job in that garden? Were they just supposed to chill there, like at a resort? So the scriptures, actually, the Bible actually says what the job was. It says when God created heaven and earth, and he populated the earth with animals and vegetation and so on, created man. It says that after that creation, the earth was still barren because nothing had sprouted yet, because man had not prayed. So the job of man was basically to pray to God, to use the powers given him by God, entrusted to him by God, and bring down the rain. And the rain, it's also a very multidimensional concept. It's not just the rain that we have, Ma'im min hashamayim. It's blessings. It's all kinds of blessings that earth, land, the world needs for continuous growth and for balance and metabolism, if I could say so. Partners with God, sort of, right? General manager. And his job was pretty simple. You see something lacking, let's say vegetation is not growing, say, hey rain, by the powers vested in me by God, come down, or something like that. I mean, I was not there. I did not read his memo. But he threw it all away, not by accident. He really threw it away. He reset the system. So he got kicked out. He got kicked out into the wider world, and he took his knowledge with him. And he taught his knowledge, him and his wife, they taught that knowledge to their sons, their daughters, and to other people that were around. And back then there were other people around. Maybe they're not as advanced, maybe mentally, maybe spiritually, maybe physically as Adam was. Physically they probably were as adapted or even stronger than him. But he brought that knowledge with him and he taught other humans. And things haven't really changed. Except that now you shall work at the sweat of your brow, right? Except that now physical effort, the part of the physical effort became a little stronger, a little heavier in that equation. It wasn't enough just to say, hey rain, sesame open, right? It wasn't enough. You had to also do a physical effort. But still, the conduits from the heaven, basically the golden rain was just raining all the time. All you had to do was just to run around and pick it up in your buckets. Golden rain meaning the blessing, right? If you were a fisherman, you wanted fish, you just had to cast your net and make a prayer and the fish would jump into the net and you had it. Right? If you were growing strawberries, you only had to pray. You till them, you plant them, you'd seed them, you'd shade them from the sun, and when time came, you said, I want rain to come to water them, or I want more sunshine, and you had beautiful strawberries. The world was pretty simple. In fact, it was so simple that people had anything they wanted. And all they had to do was just to reach out by those powers God gave humanity, that Adam taught them, and they had it. You wanted chicken, you had chicken. You wanted a Mercedes-Benz, you had a Mercedes-Benz. Maybe it was more like a Mercedes-Benz, goat. Anyway, it was in fact so simple that at some point people stopped addressing it to God. They just started addressing straight to the rain, straight to the fish, straight to the mountains, straight to the rivers, to the sun. Not because they did not believe in God, just it was cheaper. Why go through all the process, fill out all the forms, send them to all the addresses, wait the required time when you can just cut the corner and get the same result? And the other thing is that in those times there was no punishment. I'll be more specific. Either there was absolutely no punishment, or punishment was not associated with doing the wrong thing. Sometimes things happened and it happened. Just people did not know why. But for our intended purpose, there was no punishment. Why have punishment when you have everything? What to punish for? And the fact that there was no punishment, and the fact that people started cutting corners and they got used to cutting corners and doing whatever they wanted, the fabric of society started unraveling. That order, that pyramid, that pyramid started shaking and unraveling. And if, let's say, you grow strawberries and you wanted some fish, you'd go to the fisherman and you'd say, here's a kilogram of strawberries, 5 pounds of strawberries, give me some fish, right? You wanted candy, you took that fried fish and strawberry sauce and you brought to the candy shop, give me some candy, here's the fish, bartering or whatever, maybe they even had money. But as the fabric of society started unraveling, as people started cutting corners, people started cheating each other. You just come and take one candy. What, you're not going to punish me for one candy? And when you have 10 customers, 100 customers each day that would come and take each one candy, like the guy would go broke. So it got so bad that basically the petty crimes got so bad that people stopped trusting each other. People stopped interacting between each other normally. And the society that was supposed to be united as a pyramid under God, serving the world, become kind of breaking into pieces. The legs of the Colossus. The earthen legs of the Colossus unraveling, bring down the whole structure. So God had enough. Back in those days, obviously, we had Noah, who was the trustworthy dude, and God called on him and said, "Look, build the ark. I'm gonna flood the whole place." And the idea was that he would build the ark for decades or even centuries, and people would ask, "Why are you doing it?" And they would repent and change their ways. But there was a problem. There was no punishment. Those clouds in the distance did not mean a thing because there was no rain before. There were no storms before. There were storms, right? It was actually so dire, so bad in galactical scale, dire from the point of view of people not repenting, that Noah himself did not believe that the flood would come. When the ark was built, when all the animals were gathered, or all the food and supplies were gathered, and the rain started coming down and the waters were rising, he was still standing on the bridge, hoping that, not even hoping, not believing that it's going to happen, that God's going to carry it through. Obviously, he knew who God was, and just there were no punishments before. So when the flood came, then the flood left, the earth dried, the ark opened, and Noah came out, and he looked at that desolation. He looked at that utter waste, the collapse of earth, basically. he was deeply saddened. He was deeply upset, troubled. He told God, what did you do? These poor devils, they had no chance. There was no punishment. We had only one rule. Pray and things will come. Do what you needed and the blessings will come. How did people didn't have a chance? You didn't give them rules. They didn't know that they were not supposed to. Well, they knew, but the average Joe did not know. You had to make an effort to know. Just like when you park somewhere and it's a special zone, right? You're not allowed to park unless you have a sticker or between certain times. Like, you need to look for a sign. You need to have some curiosity and think, oh, would I get a ticket? Kind of like that. So mostly, like, they had no chance. Those who knew, but most people did not know. He was upset with God. He told him, no good. God, that's no good. And God told him, you know what, you're right. You're absolutely right. I'm going to teach you rules. I'll give you the 7 Noahide laws, the famous 7 Noahide laws. I'll give them to you. And you'll teach them to everyone. And as long as you keep those rules, nothing's going to happen. You'll be golden. You'll be safe. When you cross those rules, that's when you'll be in trouble. And what are those rules? Like, establish course of justice. Don't pray. There's no one else but God. Don't pray to other things, right? Don't torture animals. First animal rights organization. Don't kill. Don't steal. And, right? I'm forgetting all of them, but basically those are the main rules. Just keep them and you'll be fine. And for those who want to be righteous, for those who want to look for those parking signs, for those who want to do the right thing, to walk with God like Noah did. Here, Noah, I'll give you something else. And God gave him the rainbow. What is the rainbow? The rainbow is a system, really. It's the visual aspect of the system. It's the UI, the user interface. Today we can understand the concept. Basically, when you look at the world, right? The world behind me over there, the beautiful trees. When you look at the world, you should know that what you see is not all it is. What you see can be divided into 7 layers, to 7 different colors. From whitish, yellowish to violet and deep purple. And if you're careful, you can also discern above it infrared and below it ultraviolet. Or maybe the other way around, ultraviolet and infrared. Because there are different layers to reality. There are different different ways to perceive the world and to interact with the world. And when you know that, you will understand what's coming and what's going and what's giving. These are the signs and symbols. You will see the signs and symbols. So you won't be caught unguarded. You won't be caught with your loins, your girded loins down. You'll know what to do. When you're doing something wrong, you'll see those clouds gathering in the distance, and you can make amends ahead of time. Or you can stop doing the wrong thing and doing the right thing. When you see something lacking in the world, you can go and using those signs and symptoms, and not symptoms, signs and symbols, you can see what's missing and what could be done. You become more sensitive to the spirituality. And again, the spirituality is the interaction between the physical and the upper realms. It's that connection that we feel and that we reflect back. Or that they feel from us and they reflect back on us. The blessings are always coming. The golden rain is always falling. And our job is just to run around with a bucket and collecting it. And sometimes maybe there's less rain, sometimes there's more rain. In some places there's more rain. Sometimes we're doing things that prevent the rain. Maybe we're running with a bucket that has holes in it. Know the signs and symbols, being able to discern the different layers of reality helps us to get the most blessings into our bucket and share them around with the world. Make sure the world prospers and grows. Something like that. But that's only the first step. Guess what happened? Oh, people. I'll do it in the next video.